G'day guys, welcome back to another video. So about a week back, I was at an Australian competition called Melbourne Summer 2024. Now if this sounds familiar, it might be because this competition happens every year. It's the same place, it's a big venue, and there's a lot of competitors. 3-day competition, but I did alright. Now there wasn't really too much to report, apart from Timon getting the 4th fastest time ever in history, and me getting a few PBs as well. This video is more to talk about my ultimate goal for 2024, and I've already started some of it. Some of you might have noticed. So before I get into that, I just want to go over my PBs real quick because they're pretty cool. Actually, sorry, it was only one PB. I only got one single, which was my fastest ever one-handed single, which was 21.33. Before that, it was 21.69, so it's not much of an improvement, but I'll take the PR. And I got another 9-second time, which was pretty cool. However, the average was absolutely terrible. It was 17, 14, 16, 9, and then 11. So I ended up getting accounting 11 and also accounting 16. So the average was 14.50, which is terrible for me. The first round I was 11.50. Anyway, that's fine, I'm not even mad. But anyway, real fun competition. It was great to meet a lot of you guys that I haven't met before. Shout out to you if I met you at this competition. But yeah, like I said, this competition was in Melbourne, which is the capital of the state of Victoria in Australia. And people who have been following me have noticed that I posted recently a competition about the Tassie Summer 2024, which was actually only like a couple of weeks ago, 1 week before this competition. And Tasmania is also a state. If you didn't know much about Australia, there's 6 states and there's 2/3/12 territories. If you look at a map of Australia, there's a big territory at the top, and then there's the Australian Capital Territory, which is also considered kind of one of the places that people would say they're from. And the third one is Jervis Bay, which is kind of complementary to the ACT. It's really confusing, but basically all you need to know is that there's 6 main states, the Northern Territory and the ACT, which is 8 subdivided territory places in total. And my goal this year, just in this 1 year, is to compete in every single one of them. So like I said before, I went to Tassie, I went to that first competition, start of the year, and so that's one ticked off. I live in Victoria, so I go to a lot of Victorian competitions in general. So I've already ticked that off too with this Melbourne Summer. So what are my plans to visit the other ones? Well, for one, Oceanic Championships haven't been announced yet. I'm really hoping they're in Australia, and they're not in Tassie, Victoria, or Adelaide. Why Adelaide? Because the Nationals is there. Nationals is being held in June or July, I think, and I'm planning on going, which is in South Australia, which will tick off a 3rd stage. Next is always competitions in Sydney and Brisbane, which will be pretty easy to get to, which is New South Wales and Queensland, so that'll be 5 states. And then the only ones left are Western Australia and the 2 territories. Western Australia, they have lots of competitions, I guess, and it shouldn't be too bad to get a competition in Perth. The only problem is flights there are really expensive, because if you didn't know, Australia's pretty big and it's quite far away. I'd love to compete in Perth and I'm planning on it, but I'll have to find a competition that I really want to go to this year because it needs to be worth the trip. So I'm really hoping that the Oceanic Championships are possibly in Sydney, which would be really good, so I could tick off that one. The funny thing is I've actually never competed in any of these states before, apart from the 2 that I've already done this year. I did Tassie back a few years ago, and obviously Victoria I've done about 30. Then finally there's territories, which are going to be the hardest ones. Canberra usually only has like 1 competition, maybe 2 if you're lucky, every year, so I'm going to have to find a way to make sure that I can get to that one. Canberra being the ACT, Australian Capital Territory, and then Northern Territory. So there's only ever been 4 competitions ever in history in the Northern Territory. 3 of them being in Darwin, which were in 2019, 2020, and 2022. And then in 2021, they had the Alice Springs competition, meaning that they only really have 1 competition every year in Northern Territory, the entire place. So I'm going to have to find a time, make sure that I can get to that one as well, because otherwise I'm gonna miss out. But yeah, a lot of my mates have already been to all the states and competed in a lot of them, but I just haven't managed to get out of the state and find a competition that I really want to go to. But this is the year. I want to start traveling more, and I want to see more of you guys around this country. I really want to meet some more interstate cubers because I think that'd be really cool. So let me know what state you think I should go to next. But otherwise, that's my big plan for this year. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, so you see every competition vlog, because I'm going to make a video about all of them. This one's kind of the Victorian one because it doesn't really count, because I go to so many anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.